Hi, this is Rajiv and I welcome you back on Avriti, and we will start from where we left in the previous tutorial about how to utilize buttons for navigating inside your presentation in Adobe Animate 2017. And people who have watched the previous tutorial will know where we are, and we have successfully managed to link these three buttons with three different pages we have created on the main timeline in the previous tutorial. And the only thing was due to create a slideshow and link up these two buttons with that slideshow. Okay, so just a quick recap of the things we did earlier. We have made an interface which has three different buttons and which takes us to different pages. On the home page we have these two buttons waiting for the slideshow to come, and we have also imported 5 different images which we will use as slides. Okay, now I'm not going to cover the slideshow thing in detail here. The purpose here is to just make sure that the buttons can access different slides. That's it. In a separate video I'll be covering slideshow extensively and in more detail, where we will see how we can put transitions in the slideshow. Okay, so the first thing here is to drag one of the images which we have here. So I'm gonna just or you can select all of it at once and then drag. That way we don't need to align it once again. Now I'm gonna do it on the contents layer. Make sure that the contents layer is selected and we are inside the home span, so it can be anywhere from first frame to 9th frame, but not about. Okay, so I'm gonna select the first frame, go back to the library and make sure that all these images are selected and drag all of them. Now seems as if only one image got selected and got imported inside the workspace, but if you deselect and then drag, all the images are placed on top of each other. So I'm gonna select all of it by dragging it like this and I move. Okay, now I need to resize it. Since all of it is selected, I need to just go to the properties panel and then check out the properties. The width is 1000 and I don't want it to be 1000 because the space I have here is limited to 800 pixels. Okay, so I'm gonna cut it down to somewhere around 500 pixels, and because this is linked to the height, it will automatically resize the height as well. So 500 by 281 pixels is the resultant size, and I'm gonna fit the slideshow here. Okay, so this is going to be on the home layer. I'm gonna just zoom up and fit it to the screen. Alright, so what we have here is bunch of images placed on top of each other. I'm gonna hit Ctrl Z. Okay, and two buttons which are supposed to be utilized for navigating these images, and I'm gonna just reduce the size of these buttons. Okay, and align it like so. Alright, so what we are going to do, we will select all of it, two buttons and all those 5 images, and turn it into a movie clip by saying F8 on the keyboard and type slide underscore home. Okay, and make sure that the type is set to movie clip and then say okay. Now it says the name slide underscore home is already taken. Now if you remember, we have already defined the same name for the folder, so two items in the library cannot have same name. Okay, so I'll just underscore 1, okay, and say okay, because if the home page has more slides, so it becomes slide underscore home and the first slideshow. So let's go inside the slideshow and then look at its timeline. It has just one single frame, and what we need to do, we need to copy these images. So in fact cut these images and lay it out on different keyframes. Before we do that, we need to cut these two, so I'll say Ctrl X and make another layer on top, and we will call it nav. Now this nav is specific to the slideshow and it belongs to the slideshow's timeline, so I'm not going to write anything else here. Nav, and on the first frame I'm saying Ctrl Shift V to paste it back on the same position from where I cut it. Now on the layer 1, I'm gonna change it to images, and this is the layer where all the images are going to be. So I'm going to select it and cut Ctrl X, select the next keyframe, say F7, and say Ctrl Shift V to paste it back. Go back to the first frame, select one image, Ctrl X, go to the third frame, say F7 for introducing a blank keyframe, say Ctrl Shift V. So idea here is to make sure that all the images are on the same position but different keyframes. Okay, the last one, I have 5 images, so this is going to be the last one. Now by the way, these images which you see in the slides, these are the result of photo manipulation I did, and I have also uploaded time-lapse videos. All of this is my Photoshop work, and you can just browse through the channel and then check out these videos of how it's created. And I would really appreciate if you can just share these videos on your social media platforms you follow. Besides, so I have laid down all these images and I want this navigation to be continued till the last frame. So of course I'm going to select the last frame here on the nav layer and say F5 to extend all of it. And this time I'm going to rather use a very simple technique. These two have already instance name applied to it, assigned to it. Now what we will do, we need to let's test the movie and then see there is a problem here, and I want to check show you the problem first and then sort it out. So Control Enter. See, the slideshow is automatically playing because we do not have stop at the first frame. If I switch to About Me, it takes me to the About Me page. Contact is also working fine, and the moment I switch back to Home, the slideshow automatically starts playing and we have no control over it whatsoever by utilizing these two buttons. So what we are going to do first, make it stop. So make sure that the first frame is selected, go to the code snippets, find out the timeline navigation section and double click on the stop at this frame. It adds the stop script on the first frame. If I test the movie quickly, yeah, it stops at the first frame. I can still switch through other buttons, but I cannot navigate it, and we will just solve it in a while. So the next thing I'm going to do is select this one and go to the code snippets, and here under the timeline navigation only, if you see this line, it says click to go to next frame and then stop, and this is exactly what we want. So I'm going to double click on this. It automatically writes the script for us. It is essentially the same script which we have utilized earlier for linking Home, About Us and Contact button to different spans of time in the timeline, but here it is performing a different task. Okay, the task is next frame. That's it. It's a reserved method in the action script which is helping us here, next frame. The same, select the previous button, go to the code snippets, and below that we have click to go to previous frame and stop. So I'm going to double click here and it adds prev frame, PREV, for previous and frame. Notice the F has to be capital. Action script is a case sensitive language, so you cannot go wrong while capitalizing the letters or making it small. Alright, so I think we are done here. Things are looking nice. Let's test out the movie and then see it for ourselves. Yes, everything looks good. All 3 buttons are working fine, and if I click on this button, it should take us to the next frame, which it is exactly doing. And since it is the last picture in the slide, so I cannot navigate further by utilizing this button. I can go back by using previous. Alright, now what I can do, or you can add some sort of tooltip here on the last frame, that this is the end of the slide. So okay, just for giving the user, so you can on top of the images you can create another layer and you can rename it as tips and put a blank keyframe here, drag out a text box and write end of the slide. So end of the slide show. Now this is just for making the user understand that there is no point clicking, and there is nothing wrong with the interface also. It's just that the slideshow ended. Okay, alright, I'm gonna resize it and make it fit exactly. So now if I test the movie, if I reach to the last slide, it says end of the slideshow, and the user have understanding that we can also remove this button from the last slide, and the same can be done of having no option to go to the previous slide when it goes to the first frame. And we will see all of them in upcoming video tutorials about slideshow, where I'm going to cover it in full detail, and we will also add up transitions in between the slide and do crazy things. Just keep following the channel and keep on coming back to it. Thank you so much for staying till the end of this video. I would love to hear from you, so do write in the comment section if you want me to cover something else. Have a nice day. Don't forget to subscribe, it really fuels me up. Thank you so much.